This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello and welcome. It's Tuesday, March 15th, and this is Orlando Sentinel Now. Today, we discuss the ongoing feud between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the Walt Disney Company, plus Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings' new proposed sales tax plan. I'm your host, Joe Mario Pedersen, and joining me today, I have columnist Scott Maxwell and Orange County government reporter Ryan Gillespie. Thank you both so much for being here today. Let's get right into the news. Scott, coming to you first here. We're focusing on a feud that's centered on the parental rights and education bill, otherwise known as the Don't Say Gay bill. Governor Ron DeSantis now appears to be at war with Disney over Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. Scott, can you tell us more about what's going on there?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I had reported that Disney, a company that often talks about sort of its commitment to equality and inclusivity, had a long history of donating to Florida lawmakers who sponsor what I think most people would perceive as anti-gay legislation. And that includes Disney donating to every single sponsor of this year's Don't Say Gay bill. Well, that started a snowball of attention where Disney, which has really tried to sit on the sidelines of this issue and not say anything about this bill, finally felt compelled to speak out against the bill. And as it turns out, as you mentioned, DeSantis didn't like that at all.
So that being the case, Scott, what did the governor have to say about that?
Yeah, well, he kind of went nuclear on Disney. He essentially accused Disney of coddling communists, being in bed with the Chinese government. And then the governor's staff began tweeting that anyone who opposed the Don't Say Gay bill, which obviously included Disney, was basically siding with pedophiles. And accusing them of wanting to groom, I guess, other pedophiles. The governor's spokesman even retweeted a meme that suggested Disney, who, by the way, is Florida's largest employer, should just leave the state.
Some fighting words from the governor there. So, Scott, what's on the other side of this? What is Disney doing?
Yeah, well, Disney says it's cutting off donations to Florida politicians as a result of all this. Here's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to last because Disney's real problem here isn't, in my estimation, that it has philosophical objections to these lawmakers, because these lawmakers have always supported this. This state has gone to great lengths to sort of find ways to use LGBT issues as wedge issues. Lawmakers have tried to discriminate and divide on things like bathrooms, transgender sports. There was even at one point in time, there was a bill that tried to deny film incentives to any movies that featured non-traditional values. I mean, these guys are who they've always been, and Disney has always supported them, the Republicans in leadership. Disney's problem is that they got caught in this case. So they're saying they're going to stop donating, but the reason they've donated in the past is because these legislators and lawmakers do the company favors. I think they're going to want more legislative favors in the future, whether that's tax breaks or incentives. So I expect the donations to resume at some point in time.
Now, you mentioned that also in your most recent column. You called it a donation ceasefire. And in that column, you seem pretty confident that ceasefire won't last. Why is that?
And that is because Disney has never donated to these causes, to these politicians, for any sort of altruistic reasons. It's not because they even really like their campaign pledges. For instance, what Disney wants is legislative favors. And a couple of examples, there was a sales tax write-off that they got a couple of years ago that really was specifically tied to Disney. There was a bill last year that attempted to crack down on any social companies that ran social media platforms. At the last minute, there was an exemption put in the bill that said Facebook and Twitter would have to abide by these laws, but not any company that owns and operates a theme park. Well, that was pretty obviously for Disney. Disney wants lawmakers to continue doing its favors. Lawmakers have sometimes been pretty candid about how they expect donations in terms for favors. So unless Disney does something that I've never seen them do before, take a courageous stand and say they're not going to be involved in pay-for-play politics anymore, I think they'll probably end up resuming donations.
Really interesting situation brewing between the governor and Disney, and certainly one that we'll continue to monitor. But if you want to find out more about this, take a look at Scott's column. Be on the lookout for it at orlandosentinel.com. All right, Ryan, I want to move on to you here for one of your most recent headlines. Orlando officials signal support for Demings' sales tax plan for transportation. So, Ryan, on Monday, Mayor Jerry Demings pitched his plan to increase the sales tax to benefit a variety of transportation projects. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so really where we're at with Mayor Demings' push for adding a penny to our sales tax. So just in short, right now our sales tax is at 6.5%. The mayor wants to add a penny to that 1% to get it to 7.5%. With all of that new money, which is roughly $600 million a year. So a lot of money going to transportation. So really what the mayor is trying to do now is build up support. This is a plan that for it to be enacted needs to be passed by the voters. And for it to get in front of the voters, the Board of County Commissioners in Orange County is going to vote next month, the end of next month. And, if a majority of them sign off on it, it'll go before voters in November. So the mayor right now is doing meetings all over the county. He was presenting to Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, who is very aggressively backing this tax as well, very supportive of it, and the Orlando City Council, who by and large sounded supportive of the plan.
Ryan, in your story, you identified this sales tax plan as a regressive tax. What exactly does that mean?
We all pay the same amount of money. Like if I buy something and Elon Musk buys something for $5, we pay the same tax. I feel that that tax on the $5, because I make far less money than Elon Musk, surprise, than Elon Musk does. That's generally what that means. And that's going to more than likely, because it basically always is when we see these taxes, that's going to be a line of attack for people who are opposing this tax. The mayor said yesterday that his staff is looking into ways to kind of address that, which I thought was interesting. Whether that's reducing fares for low income earners, or maybe having free fares for public transit, which transit being kind of a big ticket item on this tax if it passes. He also said they're even looking at things like rolling back the local option gas tax to make things more affordable and maybe more equitable across the board, which, we all see what we're paying at the pump right now. So there's all kinds of things that are on the table, it sounds like, but nothing's, codified and final at this point.
Now, as we mentioned before, this tax plan is to benefit different transportation projects. Could you go over with us which projects exactly that actually might benefit?
Sure. So the presentation yesterday was really focused on benefits that would be seen by the city of Orlando, which is the largest population of like the municipalities in the county. So among things that you'll see is 45% of the tax money goes towards basically bolstering and building a transit system here. So the mayor said he wants to double the size of the Lynx bus fleet. So there's roughly 300 buses there now. He wants 600. That's more stops. That's more frequency. That's, as he said, more, high pay. It's good jobs, things like that. He wants to expand the Sunrail system, the commuter rail that's going to the airport. He wants weekend hours, nighttime hours, basically a more complete system, potentially even expanding the line. And so that's 45% of the money. And then another 45% is basically going to the county itself for roads. So if you think of some of the most congested roads that we have in the county, depending on where you live, you probably have one that you're thinking of, whether it's OBT or Colonial Drive, Cimarron Boulevard, Alafaya Trail. They run across, like you might be in Winter Park, and then 5 minutes later you're in Orlando, and then you're in Orange County, and then you're in Maitland. So across those municipalities, 45% of that money will go towards, upgrading technology to make the intersections run better, widening roads potentially, bike trails, things like that across those roads. And then 10% of the money will be divvied up to like the 13 cities in Orange County. So Orlando will get a cut, Maitland will get a cut, Winter Park, Apopka, to do their own projects within their own limits.
So it absolutely seems like this is a plan that could benefit the wider area here in Central Florida, which is pretty cool. We briefly went over when officials would be voting on this, but Ryan, just to give it a hard date, when will officials be voting to put this on the November ballot?
So the public hearing for Orange County, where they're scheduled to cast a vote, is April 26th. Then there's a whole bunch of things that have to happen at the state level, but by and large, that vote, if it gets approved, will go on the ballot in November, which will be a packed ballot. You'll be voting for governor. You'll be voting for the Orange County Mayor, Mayor Demings, and you'll also be voting for his tax plan, potentially, in that case. So, big ballot in November if this gets approved.
If you're looking for more information on that, take a look at Ryan's story at orlandosentinel.com, where, of course, you can get caught up on all the different news and events happening in and around Central Florida. For those of you who are subscribers to the Orlando Sentinel, thank you so much for continuing to support our work, for supporting local journalism. If you want to become a supporter, it's really easy to do so. All you need to do is visit orlandosentinel.com/subscribe. But as for OSN, that will do it for us. A big thank you to Scott and to Ryan for keeping us filled in what's going on in our community. We'll be back again with more news real soon. We'll see you then. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on orlandosentinel.com.